The next section of work would be the canter work. At second level, I'm starting to ask him to do his canter transitions from the walk and also to canter into the walk, so without any trot steps. So we'll give that a try. Good boy. Good boy. And again in the canter, there's 4 different gaits. There's a normal working canter, which is about what I'm asking him to do now. There is a collected canter, where I shorten my reins, ask him to get a little rounder in his legs. Good. And to collect him, it's mainly just shortening your reins, closing your hands on the rein, closing your seat in the saddle, and asking him to stay a little bit more together. Good boy. Good boy. And then there is the lengthened, medium, and extended gaits in the canter, which is the same, just long and forward in the stride. Good boy. Good boy. And then they need to come back from the medium gaits into the collected quite easily, showing that it's easy for them to do. Good boy. So I'm going to train his collection a little bit, ask him to be a little bit stronger in it, that I don't have to work so hard to make him stay there. And then to a walk transition. Good boy. And I want the canter to the walk transition to stay what is called uphill. You hear a lot about uphill in dressage. So they're always moving with their hind legs sitting, and they're traveling like they're climbing a hill. Being a quarter horse, his tendency is to be a little bit downhill. So I spend a lot of time working the collection, teaching him how to travel upwards. Good boy. Good boy. And as I'm training the collection and teaching him how to canter uphill, I use the stick, the dressage whip, just little touches behind to kind of remind him that he needs to sit and make his hind legs work a little bit stronger. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. In the dressage work, the next step is training the counter canter, which is actually cantering on the wrong lead. So I teach him to come across the diagonal, stay collected. My right leg stays back to tell him to stay in the left canter. And I ask him to stay in the incorrect lead around the corners, so he has to learn how to balance himself enough to do that. And then I'll bring him back to the true canter, which is the correct lead. Good boy. And as a little break, let him go forward. Take a little break from the counter canter. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. That's a simple change through the walk, meaning that I came in the canter on the left lead, collected him up, asked him to walk. You're aiming for about 6 to 8 steps of walk, and then I ask him to pick up the left lead. Good boy. Good boy. Now in the canter, there is also lateral movements like we did in the trot. You train a little bit with the shoulder in. You don't use it in the test rides, but you do train it. In the test, you show canter half pass, which we are just barely starting with Nikki. And again, I put my right leg back, and I'm asking him to stride a little bit sideways. As he gets better at it, he'll start crossing his legs as he goes sideways, moving to the left. Good boy. Good boy. The next step in his training, once he's learning the counter canter, is to teach him the flying changes. So I'm going to come across the diagonal. Instead of a simple change, I'm going to ask for a flying change. Good boy. Good. And Mickey's just learning these, so you can see he struggles a little bit, gets his legs a little bit confused. Sometimes he tries a nice big buck to get the leads correct. The main thing is just to keep him straight, set him up properly so he has the best chance to do it correctly. Come on. Ah, good boy. Good boy. You can see he struggled with that one, but he got it eventually, so I just leave him alone, let him figure it out. And the flying changes in dressage are quite different than what you see in the jumper ring or the reining sport. In dressage, we want the flying changes that he jumps quite strongly through the change and shows a lot of expression. In the hunter ring and the reining ring, you're looking for a very smooth change that you don't even hardly notice. Dressage, you want to notice them.
Now, when you started Nick, and you brought him along through the groundwork, what were some of the elements that you were looking for in the earlier stages?
When you're starting a young horse specifically for dressage, really the basics are not much different than any other. I do a fair bit of lunging, as much as anything, so I can get to know the horse, see what its reactions to different stimuli are, that kind of thing. I also like to do a little bit of ground driving. If they're very green, then I teach them how to turn with me just walking behind, so they understand what the reins are, how to turn in that. Other than that, it's very similar to most of the sports. Right from the beginning, you're asking them to be into a contact. You want them to take a hold of the rein and have a little feel in your mouth, not to be too light. We don't want them too round, so that's one of the keys, maybe.
Well, I really I was watching just the amount of detail and that you're doing as opposed to some of the other disciplines, or I guess the higher up you get, the more detail. The more you're asking from the horse. Yeah, that's right. They quite often, the saying is dressage is in the details. You should look like you're doing less and less the more advanced you get. So. Well, it's a good workout for horse and rider. Yes, you bet. Well, thanks a lot, Sheri. Thank you. I appreciate you taking some time with us today. You're welcome. And thanks, Nick. And we'll let you get back to it. Thank you. Cool down. You bet. Thanks. Bye-bye.